His hand closes around the door handle while the early morning sky sits clear behind the glass. The real pressure is not inside the boardroom yet. It is in the small wish to become smaller before anyone has even looked at him. You know that feeling? A room already seated. Faces turned forward. The clean sound of shoes clicking firmly on hardwood, each step announcing you before your voice has a chance to defend you. For a senior associate, this is not just an entrance. It is a test of order. Does he rush in and apologize with his posture? Does he shrink into the corner and hope competence will speak later? Or can he enter with enough respect for the room, and enough respect for himself, to stand properly before pressure names him? Samurai discipline begins here, not in domination, but in the first ritual of presence. The senior associate knows the meeting started before he arrived. Not officially. Not on the calendar. Not according to the agenda sitting in someone's folder at the far end of the table. But in the private court of a boardroom, timing has its own language. When everyone is already seated, every chair becomes a witness. Every laptop half opened, every coffee cup placed beside a legal pad, every quiet glance toward the door says the same thing. You are entering after the room has already formed an opinion. He stands there for half a second longer than he wants to admit, fingers resting on the door handle. Polished metal. Cool against the palm. A simple office object, almost invisible on any other morning. But now it feels like a line between two versions of himself. On one side of the door, he can still imagine control. He can still rehearse the sentence he will say. He can still fix his face, straighten his jacket, swallow the dryness in his mouth. On the other side, there are people who do not need to raise their voices to apply pressure. The sky outside is clear, almost unfairly clean. Early morning light comes through the glass wall behind him, sharp enough to make the hallway look more honest than he feels. Inside the boardroom, the air is still. Not peaceful. Still. The kind of stillness that belongs to rooms where money, reputation, strategy, and power are pretending to be ordinary conversation. Then he opens the door. The sound arrives first. Shoes clicking firmly on hardwood. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just clear. Each step carries farther than it should. The floor does not forgive uncertainty. It takes every movement and sends it across the room like evidence. This is where many people lose themselves before the meeting even begins. Not during the hard question. Not during the disagreement. Not when the senior partner challenges the numbers. They lose command in the first 6 steps, when their body starts apologizing for existing. The shoulders fold a little. The eyes drop too quickly. The smile comes too early and too wide. The hand lifts in a small unnecessary gesture that says, sorry, I know, I'm here, don't mind me. The person tries to become polite, but what comes out is not respect. It is fear dressed in office manners. That is the shadow in this room. He feels intimidated, and the instinct is to shrink into the corner. Not physically, maybe. He is still walking toward a chair. He is still carrying his folder. He is still wearing the title that says senior associate. But inside, some younger part of him wants to make a smaller target. Sit near the wall. Speak only if asked. Do not interrupt the rhythm. Do not take up space. Do not let them see that the room feels larger than your spine. It is a quiet form of surrender, and because it looks professional from the outside, it can go unnoticed for years. A person can build an entire career around being useful but unseen. Prepared but hesitant. Intelligent but self-erasing. Always arriving with the work done, the slides clean, the answer ready, but with the body language of someone asking permission to belong. The danger is not humility. Humility has a spine. Humility can listen without disappearing. Humility can enter a room and honor the people inside it without bowing to the fear inside itself. The danger is intimidation disguised as courtesy. In a high-stakes boardroom, everyone reads what is not said. They read the speed of the walk. They read where the eyes land. They read whether the chair is pulled with care or dragged with nervous force. They read whether the first breath is taken before speaking or wasted inside a rushed apology. The senior associate knows this, which makes it worse. He has prepared the deck. He knows the numbers behind the summary page. He reviewed the risk language before dawn with coffee that went cold beside his laptop. There is a message from a junior analyst still unanswered because he did not want to admit he was checking the same slide for the 9th time. In his folder, one page has a tiny crease where his thumb kept pressing the corner during the elevator ride up. None of that is failure. It is just human. But the mind, under pressure, does not always treat human as acceptable. It starts making arguments. You should have gotten here earlier. They all noticed. The chair at the far end looked up. The CFO did not smile. Someone moved their pen. You are behind before you have spoken. And once the mind begins narrating the room against you, the body follows. His throat tightens. His breath climbs into the chest. His steps become a little too careful, as if the floor has turned into a stage. He feels the strange temptation to overcorrect, to walk faster, to say something clever, to show ease he does not yet have. Then another impulse rises right behind it. Say nothing, take the smallest chair, vanish behind the screen. Both impulses come from the same place. Fear wants either performance or disappearance. Rei offers another way. In samurai discipline, Rei is not about empty politeness. It is not about pleasing the room or acting smaller than the people inside it. Rei is the outer form of inner order. The ritual matters because the body needs a shape when the mind is tempted to scatter. The entrance is not a small thing. The way he touches the door handle, the way he crosses the threshold, the way he acknowledges the room, the way he takes his seat, these are not decorative behaviors. They are the first architecture of his presence. A disordered person enters as a reaction. A disciplined person enters as a signal. Not a loud signal. Not arrogance. Not the theatrical confidence of someone trying to win the room before the meeting starts. A real signal is quieter than that. It says, I respect this room enough to be deliberate. I respect myself enough not to disappear. That distinction matters. Because there is a kind of office confidence that is just fear wearing expensive shoes. It talks too early. It interrupts to prove speed. It fills every silence because silence feels like a verdict. It mistakes dominance for authority and volume for command. But the senior associate's test is not to dominate. His test is to enter with clean form while his nervous system is asking for cover. He does not need to become fearless. He needs to stop letting fear design his manners. The room is already seated. Fine. That is the fact. The sky is clear. The morning is early. The hardwood has already announced him. The door handle is behind him now, no longer a barrier, just a thing he chose to release. Now comes the next test. Does he let the sound of his own shoes make him self-conscious, or does he let it mark the pace? That is where the confrontation becomes precise. The outer scene is simple. A senior associate enters a boardroom where everyone is waiting. The internal scene is sharper. A man is trying not to abandon himself in front of people whose approval could affect his future. And the discipline contrast is smaller than most people imagine. The undisciplined reaction rushes to reduce discomfort. Apologize too much. Smile too fast. Sit too low in the chair. Open the laptop immediately as a shield. Pretend to check notes so the eyes do not have to meet other eyes. The disciplined response does not need drama. It starts with one full breath before the first word. It allows the hand to close the door without haste. It lets the eyes move across the room long enough to acknowledge people, not beg from them. It takes the chair like a place of responsibility, not a hiding spot. These details are not superficial. In professional life, small rituals carry moral weight because pressure is always looking for the smallest opening. If pressure can make you sloppy with your entrance, it can make you sloppy with your listening. If it can make you apologize with your posture, it can make you over-explain your answer. If it can make you shrink before anyone attacks you, it can make you treat silence as rejection. Rei trains the opposite. It teaches that form can protect substance. When the inner world starts to shake, the outer form gives the person something truthful to obey. Stand properly. Enter cleanly. Greet without begging. Sit without collapsing. Listen before defending. Speak only when the words are ready to carry weight. For the senior associate, the boardroom is not asking him to become someone else. It is asking whether he can carry himself without handing authority to his intimidation. Whether he can feel the old wish to shrink and still choose a larger conduct. Whether he can honor the room without worshiping it. That is the confrontation beneath the title, the real power of first presence. The first presence is not the impression you perform for others. It is the first proof you give yourself that you have not abandoned your post. The people at the table may remember his opening comment. They may remember the slide he explains, the risk he clarifies, the question he handles without rushing. But before any of that, his own body will remember the entry. The cool door handle. The clean morning light. The shoes on hardwood. The room already seated. And the moment he chose not to shrink. Training does not begin after he feels ready. It begins while his fingers are still around the door handle, while the room is already seated, while the small private voice tells him to take up less space. That is the first second of Shugyo in this boardroom. Not sweat. Not punishment. Not forcing himself to feel confident. A sharper kind of training, The kind that happens before anyone else knows a battle has started. His hand stays on the handle one beat longer. Not long enough to look frozen. Just long enough to stop obeying the first impulse. The first impulse says, move fast, get it over with, apologize with your face, find the empty chair, disappear behind the laptop. But he does not let that impulse become motion. He lets it pass through the body without becoming the body. His palm feels the cool metal. That matters. The door handle is no longer just a way into the room. It becomes the first point of command. The mind wants to run ahead into imagined judgment, but the hand gives it something real. Metal. Pressure. Weight. The clean edge of the latch under his fingers. He takes one breath before he enters. Not a dramatic breath. No one should see him performing composure like an actor in a leadership seminar. It is quiet. Low. Enough to bring the air down from his chest and into his ribs. Enough to remind the body that it is not being hunted. Enough to interrupt the old reflex that says intimidation means danger. Then he opens the door with control. The movement is small, but small movements are where disorder usually leaks out. A rushed door says more than people think. A careless swing, a nervous half smile, a shoulder turned sideways as if asking the room to forgive his arrival, all of it teaches the body to enter from apology. He does not do that. He opens the door cleanly. He steps through fully. He does not slide in like an interruption. He does not make himself narrow. For one quiet second, both feet are under him, and the room is allowed to see a person arriving instead of a fear trying to hide in a suit. The shoes click on the hardwood. That sound could become a threat. The intimidated mind hears it and says, too loud. Everyone is listening. You are exposed. But discipline changes the meaning of the sound. He does not fight it. He uses it. Each step becomes a metronome. Not fast. Not slow enough to seem theatrical. Just measured. Heel, sole, floor. Heel, sole, floor. He lets the sound set the pace of his entrance instead of letting the faces at the table set it for him. This is the second layer of practice. Anchor the body in the present before the mind invents a trial. The boardroom is real. The people are real. The table is real. The early morning light is real. The folder in his hand is real. The fear is also real, but it is not the only real thing in the room. He names this without moving his lips. Door. Table. Chair. Breath. The mind that wanted to shrink is forced to return to the actual room. Not the imagined room where every person is secretly condemning him. Not the future room where one wrong answer ends everything. The actual room, where his only job right now is to enter well. His eyes lift. This is harder than it sounds. When a person feels intimidated, the eyes usually go searching for safety. They drop to the floor. They hide in the folder. They dart too quickly across faces, collecting evidence of rejection. He knows the habit. He has done it before. He has pretended to review notes just to avoid the weight of being seen. This time, he gives the room a proper acknowledgement. Not a stare. Not a challenge. A clean look. 1 second toward the senior partner. 1 toward the chair of the meeting. 1 toward the people along the side of the table. Enough to say, I see the room I have entered. Enough to say, I am not asking my fear where I belong. Then he greets them. Good morning. 2 words. No rush. No extra apology attached to them like a nervous receipt. If he needs to acknowledge timing, he does it plainly, without bending his whole posture around it. He does not turn a small delay into a confession of unworthiness. He does not make the meeting spend emotional energy reassuring him. Ray is precise like that. Respect does not waste the room's time with self-punishment. Respect enters, acknowledges, and joins the work. He moves toward the open chair. Here comes the old shadow again, quieter but still present. Choose the corner. Sit where no one has to notice you. Put the laptop up like a wall. Let the table swallow you. The feeling has not disappeared. It is still there, pressing at the ribs, trying to make the body fold. So he shrinks the battle. He does not try to conquer the whole meeting in one heroic act. He does not promise himself he will impress everyone. He chooses the next correct action. Pull the chair without noise. Place the folder flat. Sit with both feet on the floor. Let the spine rise before the screen opens. These are not manners for the sake of manners. They are handles inside the moment. Each one gives the intimidated mind less room to improvise its own defeat. When he sits, he does not collapse backward to look casual. He does not lean forward too quickly to look eager. He settles. That word matters. A person who settles into a seat is different from a person who hides in one. His hands go to the table. For a moment, he wants to grip the pen too tightly. He catches it, loosens the thumb, places the pen beside the folder instead of clicking it. The small sound never happens. No nervous tapping. No little rhythm of panic under the conversation. The room continues. Someone references the agenda. Someone turns a page. The CFO asks whether the revised assumptions are ready. A few eyes move toward him. The old reflex reaches for speed. Answer now. Prove you know it. Fill the silence before it becomes judgment. But the practice holds. He lets one breath arrive before the sentence. The pause is not empty. It is where the answer becomes owned. Yes. We revised the downside case this morning. The key change is on page 7. That is all. Clear. Useful. No decoration. No softening every sentence until it loses its bones. This is how ritual becomes training. The door handle. The step. The greeting. The chair. The breath before speaking. Repeated often enough, they begin to carve a path through intimidation. Not around it. Through it. The shadow may still whisper from the corner of the room. It may still tell him to be smaller, safer, less visible. But now his body has learned another route. Touch what is real. Enter cleanly. Let the shoes mark the pace. Take the chair as a duty. Speak after the breath. That is the power of first presence. Not that the room becomes easy. Not that every face becomes warm. The power is that he stops outsourcing his posture to the temperature of other people. And somewhere behind him, the door handle returns to its proper size. It is no longer a gate of judgment. It is just the first object he used to remember who was in command. The room does not soften just because he has found his posture. That is important. The senior partner still looks down at the printed deck with the same unreadable face. The CFO still has a pen resting between two fingers, waiting for numbers to prove themselves. Someone near the window still checks the time on a phone placed flat beside a coffee cup. The boardroom remains what it was before he entered: high stakes, quiet, polished, and difficult to impress. Nothing has turned warm. No one has leaned back and given him the gift of obvious approval. The transformation is smaller than that, and because it is smaller, it is more believable. He sits at the table without trying to disappear into it. The chair no longer feels like a hiding place. It feels like a position. His feet are flat on the hardwood. His folder is square with the edge of the table. The laptop is open, but not raised like a shield. His hands rest where they can be seen. The pen is still beside the folder, untouched, no nervous clicking under the silence. A question comes from the far end. Walk us through the exposure if the second assumption fails. There it is. The old contraction moves through him fast. Not gone. Not conquered forever. It hits the same place in the body, under the ribs, behind the throat, in the tiny tightening of the jaw. For 1 second, the corner of the room calls to him again. Shrink. Make the answer smaller. Bury uncertainty under speed. Say too much so no one can see the fear. But now he notices the impulse before it becomes behavior. That is the difference. Earlier, intimidation would have entered his body and taken over the controls before he could name it. It would have chosen his tone. It would have made his eyes avoid the person asking. It would have turned the first sentence into a flood of disclaimers. Now there is a narrow space between feeling and motion. He places one hand on the folder. Not for drama. Not because anyone in the room cares where his hand is. He does it because the body remembers what the mind forgets under pressure. Find the real thing. Touch the surface. Let the room be a room. The paper is smooth under his palm. The table is solid. The shoes that clicked across the hardwood are now still beneath him. The morning light has moved slightly across the wall, clear and pale, as if the sky has no opinion about his performance. He breathes once. Then he answers. If the second assumption fails, the exposure widens in two places. The immediate risk is timing. The larger risk is credibility with the client if we move before confirming the revised data. The sentence lands cleanly because he did not throw it. He does not hide the risk. He does not decorate it. He does not rush toward reassurance just to make the room feel better. He gives the boardroom what it actually needs: order under pressure. A few pages turn. The CFO looks at page 7. The senior partner's pen moves once in the margin. Again, no applause. No sudden relief. No cinematic rescue. But something inside the meeting changes its weight. Not because everyone has decided he is brilliant. Because he has stopped making his presence depend on their faces. That is the quiet authority of Ray. It does not ask the room to become kind before the person becomes steady. It does not demand comfort as a condition for dignity. It takes the small forms that ordinary people overlook, the entrance, the greeting, the chair, the pause before speaking, and turns them into a frame strong enough to hold pressure. The shadow is still there. It has not vanished into some clean motivational ending. He can still feel the part of himself that wants to be approved of before he risks being clear. He can still remember the half second at the door, the cool handle in his palm, the wish to step inside without being fully seen. That memory does not embarrass him now. It instructs him. Because the goal was never to become a person who feels nothing in a hard room. A person like that is either lying, numb, or performing for people who confuse emptiness with strength. The better goal is more demanding. Feel the pressure and do not become sloppy. Feel the room and do not worship it. Feel the wish to shrink and still choose the form of someone entrusted with responsibility. The meeting continues. A director challenges the timing. Someone asks whether the client will accept the revised sequence. The senior associate turns one page, then another. He listens without nodding too quickly. He lets silence exist after a hard question instead of filling it with nervous noise. When he does not know enough to answer fully, he says what he knows and names what still needs confirmation. That, too, is presence. Not pretending certainty. Not making confidence louder than truth. The old version of him might have tried to survive the room by becoming useful in the safest possible way. Never too visible. Never too direct. Always polished enough to avoid criticism, but hidden enough to avoid real authority. Now he sees the cost of that. If you always enter as someone hoping not to be noticed, you train people to overlook the part of you that could lead. If you always treat powerful rooms like places where you must earn permission to breathe, you will bring that same smallness into every conversation that matters. You will call it professionalism. You will call it humility. But deep down, you will know it is fear choosing the furniture. The boardroom does not need him to dominate it. It needs him to stand in his role. So when the next question comes, he turns toward it. Not sharply. Not with the forced confidence of someone who rehearsed authority in the mirror. He simply turns his body toward the person speaking, keeps his shoulders open, and lets his answer begin after the breath. The sound in the room changes. The shoes are no longer clicking. The door is no longer opening. But the rhythm of that entry remains inside him. Measured. Clear. No wasted motion. No apology hidden in the spine. The anchor has changed. At first, the door handle was the threshold he feared. A small piece of metal holding back judgment, status, and the possibility of being seen as less than ready. Then it became a point of command. A way to bring the mind back into the hand, the body back into the present, the entrance back into order. Now, as he sits inside the meeting, the handle is behind him. He cannot touch it anymore. He does not need to. Its meaning has moved inward. A person who entered with form can stay with form. A person who released the handle with control can release the need to be rescued by approval. Near the end of the discussion, he stands to clarify one final point on the screen. The chair moves back softly. His shoes meet the hardwood again, but this time the sound does not accuse him. It marks his place. He walks to the display, points to the revised exposure line, and speaks in a tone that does not beg the room to like him. The same boardroom. The same people. The same stakes. But not the same posture. When he returns to his seat, his hand passes briefly near the door as someone steps out to take a call. He notices the handle for half a second. Polished metal. Ordinary. Smaller than fear made it. He does not smile at it. He does not make it sacred. He just understands. The first presence was never about impressing the room. It was about entering without leaving himself outside. Most people think presence begins when they speak. It does not. It begins earlier, in the private second before the room sees you. In the way your hand touches the door handle. In the way your shoulders answer pressure before your mouth says good morning. In the way your shoes cross the floor when a part of you wants to become invisible. You may not walk into a boardroom tomorrow. Maybe your room is a manager's office, a client call, a courtroom hallway, or the kitchen table where a hard conversation has been waiting all week. But you know the threshold. You know the feeling of arriving after the room has already decided its temperature. That is where first presence matters. Not because people are judging every inch of you. They may be. They may not be. That cannot be your command center. Your work is smaller and harder. Enter without abandoning yourself. Before you speak today, touch the handle. Feel the chair. Let your feet find the floor. Give one full breath to the person you are trying to become before fear speaks on your behalf. Then enter cleanly. No performance. No shrinking. No apology hidden in your spine. If this lesson belongs in your life, keep it close. And if this channel helps you train that kind of quiet command, return when the next threshold is waiting. Ritual is not decoration. It is the outer shape of inner order.